Father Andrew, members of your parish of St. George, our sister parish, I think all of our city officials have gone. They had previous engagements, but really I was very appreciative that they all came to honor Sotirios this evening. Consul General Kula Sofianu, welcome back. You're always a special guest here at St. Barbara's, and we're honored that you took time out of your very, very, very busy schedule to be with us, especially to honor Sotiris. I want to take you back just a few years ago. Prior to any priest being assigned to a parish, many years ago there used to be an interview process. And maybe some of you past presidents that are here this evening will probably remember that you had to interview and sit and talk to the priest before he was officially assigned to the parish. And the priest would be invited, he would come, he would sit with the parish council president, spend time together, and then probably appear in front of maybe 13 or 15 parish council members and probably be drilled to death on different issues. How would you handle this situation? How would you handle that situation? They would get down to the nitty-gritty and talk about salaries, packages, insurances, things that are a little bit uncomfortable to talk about. But years ago, this is what they used to do. And I'm sure 9 times out of 10, after these meetings took place, usually the priest would always come out on the short end of the stick. But anyway, there would always be maybe a little bit of hard feelings or friction even before the priest was assigned to the parish. Not a good thing. But thank the good Lord that has all changed, because these days the priests are assigned to a parish by the metropolitan. There are no more interviews that take place. The communications take place between the metropolitan and the parish council president. And if need be, the metropolitan will meet with parish councils. And this is what happened 7 years ago. There were no interviews. I never stepped foot in Tom's River, never heard of Tom's River. But as eminence, I never knew Metropolitan Evangelos either. But he had reached out and asked if I was interested in coming to this metropolis, and you really don't say no to metropolitans. So I said, well, if the good Lord wills it, so be it. So anyway, there were no interviews. I didn't meet anybody. I met with His Eminence, and he told me, your new parish is St. Barbara's. You have to start next week. So I packed a couple of suitcases, and I stayed at Howard Johnson's. I was there for a couple of weeks. And the first time I met anyone from the board, Chris Garamanos was president back then, and Lou Courageous was on the board, and they picked me up from Atlantic City Airport late at night. We had something to eat, and they dropped me off at the Howard Johnson's. I had no car. My wife and son were still in Florida. It was not a very easy transition for me. But I want to talk a little bit about the relationship a priest must have with the parish council president, because I had to depend on the parish council president. As I said, I had no automobile, so I was calling Chris. Chris, could you pick me up from the hotel and bring me to church? Chris would call me. Father Paul, you ready for lunch? Come and pick me up for lunch. Father Paul, are you ready for dinner? Let's go to dinner. Chris, I need you to take me to the hospital. All these things went on for a few days until I kind of got situated and found a car through a very generous parishioner, helped me find my car that I'm still driving today, by the way, 7 years. So anyway, I had this special relationship with Chris, parish council president. A few days later, it was time to meet the parish council. So we met at Legends, Howard Johnson's restaurant. And we met, and I met with the parish council for the first time, and it was a very, very comforting meeting. I met each and every one of them. I met Sotiris at that time as well. He was a member of the parish council. A couple of months went by, and Chris announced to me that I am not running for president. And I said, what? I says, Chris, you can't do that. I said, I need you to be there. I mean, you're the president. There's a lot of things that, we still need to find out about each other. I trust you. We have this relationship. You can't do this to me. I'm still new here. Don't worry about nothing, my friend. Everything is under control. And I'm like, Chris, you have to yell. I'm not yelling. That's the way I talk. And those of us who know Chris, yeah, that's the way he talks. So in any event, elections took place. Chris was a member of the parish council, but chose not to seek election as president, which brings us to our honoree this evening, Sotiri, who was elected to serve as the parish council president in January of 2007. The next year, he was president. The next year, he was... Anyway, this went on for 6 years. So for 6 consecutive years, Sotiri served as the president of the parish council. He served the parish council with love, with dignity, and a strong sense of responsibility that really I've never seen before. Usually when a president takes over, whether it's in the church, whether it's in some kind of fraternity, a business, a company, when a new president takes over, there's always a transition of some kind. And you're always expecting the new guy to bring in the new regime, changes will be made, and this is what I thought was going to happen. But actually, none of this happened. None of it. It was a very, very smooth transition, and Chris was right. I had nothing to worry about. As we say in Greek, ola pigan oroloi. Everything went like clockwork. Everything was very, very smooth, and Sotiri made it go smooth. I mentioned that he served the parish council as a president with love. That may be something a little difficult to understand. How can a president serve a board? How can a president serve any organization with love? Most people will think that a president will serve with an iron fist. He or she may have different ideas that they want to implement. Some people will seek offices because they're political animals. Some people will seek offices because they need to be in charge. Some people run for office and seek presidency because they love God. Because they love God, and they love God first. And because they love God first, they're able to serve as good presidents and faithful presidents of parish council. And when I'm speaking of someone who ruled with love, it shouldn't surprise us, because that's the way Sotiri was brought up. He was brought up by parents who, number one, trusted God and trusted the church. And these things were instilled in Sotiri as he was a young man. And there's something else that most of us don't know. His spiritual father from England, Metropolitan Callistos Ware, a world-renowned, present-day, modern-day theologian who speaks all over the world only at the invitation of the patriarch. He's represented the patriarch all over the world, and it was because of Sotiri's love and his love and respect for his spiritual father and his generosity and his love for St. Barbara's Church that he connected with his spiritual father, and he was able to come not once but twice to our parish of St. Barbara. Many, many people called me after the first audience that His Excellency came. How did you do it? How did you get him here? What do we got to do? We want him at our church. It was all because of Sotiri's and his generosity and his family generosity. So for that, Sotiri's, thank you very much for having Metropolitan Callistos with us on these 2 occasions. All of us here this evening are very well aware of everything that has taken place under the presidency of Sotiri. Namely, as you heard earlier, the consecration of our beloved St. Barbara Church, and also the building of our parish athletic center. These 2 historic events are accomplishments of all of us. All of us worked, all of us chipped in, all past presidents, all Philopoulos presidents, past and present, everyone. It was a community effort. We made this consecration happen, And we built that parish athletic center under the leadership of Sotirios because we love God. And again, if we love God, many, many things come towards our way. The consecration of our parish took place October 24th, 2010. And as I'm looking around, I think everyone in this room attended that beautiful event. It was witnessed by all of us. We'll probably never have the blessing of witnessing or participating in a consecration ever again. And as Consul General Kula Sufianu said, she was honored to be here that evening, that whole day actually, for how many hours? 6 hours? 6 hours. And you know what? I don't know how you felt, but it felt like 5 minutes. It was a great, beautiful event. And again, thank you, Sotiris, for doing that and being the president and for making that event happen. The Parish Athletic Center was also being constructed at that time, and it was a very difficult time for our parish. Many of our parishioners were thinking that this was not a good idea. We should not be consecrating the church at this time. We don't have the money to do it. Why should we be putting icons in this church? We're trying to build a gymnasium. But look what happened, my friends. We put God first. The funds for that consecration came in very, very easy. As a matter of fact, we actually profited from that event of the consecration. So when you love God, when you do things for God, things happen. So this athletic center that we have right next to us, that was dedicated 1 year later, December the 4th, 2011, on the feast day of St. Barbara's Church. And again, it was a very beautiful afternoon, as was the day of the consecration. The athletic center is being utilized by our children. As a matter of fact, last night, there was a lock-in retreat, and our Goyans were here. The Goyans from Perth Amboy were here, and the Goyans from Trenton were here from 7 p.m. last night till 7 a.m. this morning. So they had their religious retreat downstairs. They were in the gymnasium playing basketball, playing volleyball till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and this is what that gymnasium was built for all of our children. It's built for the metropolis, and it's being used by the community of Toms River. It's being rented out, generating some income to help pay the mortgage, because we love God and God loves us. The final point that I want to bring up tonight speaks about a relationship between a priest and a president of a parish council. All of us know in all facets of life, communication. We always have to be communicating with each other. No matter what time of day, no matter what time of night. No matter if it was a telephone call, if it was an email, if it was a text message. And I know the parish council ribs me about sending them emails and text messages, especially after 10 o'clock at night. What are you laughing about, Tony? That's why my wife always yells at me, "Get off of that computer, it's too late, you shouldn't be on, leave those guys alone, leave them alone." But it is what it is. I apologize. Sotiris, I apologize for all the emails, all the text messages. Mr. President, Lou Courageous, get used to it, my friend. But no matter what the issue was, Sotiris always returned my phone calls, always answered my text messages immediately. And I thank him for doing that, and I appreciate that. One of the greatest qualities that I want to share with you with Sotiris, and I'm sure all of us here have picked up on this, his ability to discuss, his ability to present whatever it is that he needs to present to the community. Whether it's a project, no matter what it is, he does his homework. Before he presents anything, he's very meticulous, and he makes sure that he's knowledgeable whatever it is that he is presenting. If it's to the board, if it's to the General Assembly, whatever it is, he's ready for it. He's ready to answer any questions that will be shot at him. And yes, we know that presidents have to put up with a lot of verbal attacks by their fellow council members. They put up with verbal attacks from parishioners, in the narthex, in the hall, all out on the streets, but this is the way it is. And he understands it, and he handled everything with love, with respect, and with dignity. Never once have I seen Sotiri raise his voice. Never. Never in the 6 years that he has served on the board has he ever raised his voice. A couple of times I caught him doing something like this, wiping the sweat off his eyebrows and wiping the sweat off his forehead. Doris laughing. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, something's about to happen. But nothing happens. He treats everyone with love and respect. I wanted to thank Dora for sharing your husband with us. I also want to thank your children, Florentina, Andreas, and Nicholas. Many nights, instead of sitting down doing homework with you, your dad was here at church in that meeting room going over different things for your church and for our church. So you can have him back, only for a little bit, only for a little bit, because Sotiri made me a promise. Father Paul, because I freak out, I'm sorry. Sotiri, your term is up, what are we going to do? Father Paul, don't worry about it. Everything will be all right. And you know what? Everything is all right. Everything is all right. We have a fantastic church board. We have an awesome new parish council president, Lou Courageous, who will speak to you in a few minutes. And in reality, Chris, thank you everything that you've done for me as I came here fresh. Everything is under control. And so, Didis, please, I want you to come up and accept this beautiful icon. This icon is made specially for all of our past parish council presidents. It's an icon of our patron, St. Barbara, and it reads the following: St. Barbara, Greek Orthodox Church, Toms River, New Jersey. Mr. Sotiri Sergiou, in appreciation of your generous commitment and ongoing dedication to our community, President of the Parish Council, 2007 through 2012, March 16th, 2013. Sotiri, God bless you.